Heyo, Spaghetti-O, Cap here, doing a VOD review. Today's VOD, Friday Night Smash 169, 13 squared, BattleDolphin versus Ari. And BattleDolphin asked me to do this one, but I thought I could do it because for the players that, are mid-tier and below, probably can look at this game for a way of really understanding objectives for your character. Because I think a lot of people talk about objectives and they say, well, you got to look for this, you got to look for that, and what you can't do in a matchup, and what you should do in a matchup, like specific objectives, not just general objectives. And they might not necessarily understand them, or they've been playing the same character so much that those objectives are sort of ingrained in them, and that they don't adapt easily over sets or just in general because they're so used to the same objectives of their character. If we're going to go into what those general objectives are for each character, we've got Mewtwo on Ari's side, and he eventually goes and plays Ike. We've also got Jigglypuff on BattleDolphin's side, and he plays Jigglypuff the entire time. So starting on Jigglypuff, like the objectives is sort of like, well, how do we rack up damage? How do we get our kills? How we rack up damage, we want to get like stray hits in the neutral, things to convert like grabs, any little combos like pseudo combos and strings that you can get, and especially looking for like big hits, which I think on Jigglypuff is like big damage on the back air, drill maybe, up throw, like kill setups. Jigglypuff actually has a couple against Mewtwo, since Mewtwo's so light. Rest is actually a decent tool in this matchup, as well as up tilt comes online a lot faster, and back air and typical smashes. And the ways that you're going to have to get those, since they are such high committal moves, is just be fundamentally a lot better than Ari in this situation, right? Because none of those are like, oh, this combos into that, or all you have to do is get the grab, or you can play around a certain thing within the character's toolkit to be able to get those more easily. Because if you miss any of them, you can just be absolutely dead as Jigglypuff, because you are so light, and one of them, the main tool, the rest, is the earliest kill setup, which means you can get the least amount of damage with Jiggs, but you are pretty much dead afterwards. Especially considering, like when we go into specific objectives, when you're talking about what Jigglypuff has to do against Mewtwo, what you're starting to look at is, well, like Jigglypuff has to avoid a whole lot of stuff. And I know Lachlan / BattleDolphin might know a lot of this, but I still wanted to cover it anyways for people who may not know. That Jigglypuff has to do a lot of work to avoid Shadow Ball, especially avoid forward air, because it's a really high damage move that combos and basically sets you up for kill percent really quickly. Avoid being anti-aired by up smash, and avoid down tilts as another one, because down tilt can give you down tilt to fair, and if you get like 3 of those in a row, Jigglypuff is pretty much kill percent for all of Mewtwo's tools. And on the other side, like what Mewtwo has to look for is to rack up damage to the point that Jigglypuff dies to anything like forward air or up smash, and all those kill moves that we talked about just earlier. And the way that he's going to be able to do that is like setting up combos. So when we think about that, we're going to think about Nair, we're going to think about down tilt, we're going to think about Shadow Ball, especially fully charged, because it does an absolute ridiculous amount of damage. And we're going to look at forward air, because forward air can start combos as well. So those things are the things that Jigglypuff has to avoid. All of those things at all points of the game, right? Because combos give Jigglypuff an absurd amount of damage, because even though she's floaty, Mewtwo can combo her. And on top of that, all of the things that normally combo her, like forward air and down tilt, will lead to like really dangerous situations in the future. But the real big thing about this matchup is Shadow Ball, because Jigglypuff has next to no tools to deal with Shadow Ball. Jigglypuff can jump it, right, and avoid it with air dodge, but she has to change her positioning in order to deal with the Shadow Ball. While Mewtwo can control the pace of the match, cause Jigglypuff to respond in a specific way when charging Shadow Ball, and does not have to react to what Jigglypuff is doing, in a sense. Like in a theory box before we get in here, Mewtwo has the absolute advantage. And I feel like that's what a lot of people may get confused with when they think about low tiers and high tiers. Because if you're ever going to a match and someone's playing Ganondorf or Dr. Mario, or this is Smash 4, obviously, this may not translate well into Ultimate, but like typically known as low tier character, or a character that you're supposed to beat with your matchup, you're immediately thinking about this should be easy, right? And a lot of people don't really think about the objectives of why it should be easy when they're going into this match. But B, a lot of people might think of them, but then not understand that the reason that you win that matchup, or the reason that they are low, is because you control the pace of the match, and therefore you have the right, the obligation, the whatever, to make the right decision and then just overrule whatever the other player is thinking of doing. And I feel like we'll be able to see that in this particular set,
Bit
because
rough,
I've watched it.
but I mean, he's a pioneer of Puff. Surely he can find
Is
a way
he
around it.
grumbly? That's nice. I might put some music on. So, like, going into this first match, we want to think about immediately what was it, those things, right? So we're looking for down tilt, forward air, nair. So there you go, right? Openings are just, a lot of openings can be really meaningful, but I feel like these guys are sort of feeling themselves out more in the opening. But what we saw was Ari basically threw out those three things, and now he's doing the fourth thing, right? Like, it's not like Mewtwo spam these options. Obviously, Mewtwo's will use other options throughout the set, but he's basically gone through the checklist. Okay, what worked, what worked, what worked, what worked, and he's thrown them all out. And BattleDolphin got hit by the Nair, which led into the fair, 25%. We'll put another 25% on, and then suddenly BattleDolphin, even though being on one of the biggest stages, is starting to look a little scary, especially if you get a fully charged Shadow Ball, right? And this is even more scary because now Ari's going to be charging this ball, and BattleDolphin's going to have to try and get in, right? But knowing the result of this match, and also knowing what happens in this match, I want you to watch BattleDolphin, because eventually he figures something out where he can get his game going, right? He can start to make Jigglypuff's strengths work a little bit more. And then once we see those strengths, I'm going to talk a little bit more about them, because they do exist with Jigglypuff, believe it or not. So now we're at 50%. We've really got to watch out, because those fully charged Shadow Balls are going to be starting hitting. 60% is really going downhill here. Jigglypuff gets in a little bit. 69. But something's happened. Jigglypuff's caught up. How? 69 to 50%? He gets hit a couple of times. At this point, he just says, no, that's enough. And he threads his way in. But he still only got 14% off the first. It was two fairs, and then the Mewtwo made it out. I think what we're seeing here, the way that Jigglypuff is getting the advantage or getting the hits, is that she changes the game of the neutral, right? She takes a couple of hits to be able to put herself in a situation that Ari is not necessarily familiar or comfortable with against Jigglypuff. And then Ari will start to use those options that he used at the start. We talked about the Nair, we talked about the fair, we talked about the down tilt, right? And Ari has clearly shown throughout the first 30 seconds, 40 seconds, that he has an affinity to use those to try and start combos, right? So BattleDolphin's getting his feet slapped, basically, by those ones. But what BattleDolphin noticed is, like, when he's in the air, he's almost always being challenged by the Nair of the Mewtwo, right? Mewtwo's always going Nair, Nair, or up air once when he was at the top platform, but it was almost all, he's gotten this percent basically from trading with Nair, with like a forward air, and then going in with little strings and combos. This part was from a pound, but then Nair, right? And before that, he got the double nair. Oh, he got the double fair from the nair before this one. So he's got nothing, gets hit, nair's come down, and he gets it twice. Again, 2 hits off the nair. That was an air dodge, but another one, right? So he keeps hitting. So what he's doing is he's saying, look, I get destroyed by these options, but I'm accounting for them. Maybe BattleDolphin isn't thinking about this. Maybe he's doing it subconsciously, right? We can't give these players too much credit. But what he's thinking about is like this guy's obviously like using his options. At some point, whether subconsciously or consciously, BattleDolphin is aware of Ari's objectives, right? Because maybe he just plays against so many characters where he has to be the responsive one that he has to be aware of other people's objectives, right? And so that's what he's doing. One thing he might struggle against, I think, is the Shadow Ball, though, since like there's been 2 fully charged Shadow Balls, and one of them he's been hit by. Fair, good fair. All right, we're getting a little bit of skips because my computer is a literal potato, but we'll go back just to see what happened. Okay, well, we're not seeing that, unfortunately. Shadow Ball again, like, Shadow Ball didn't hit, right? But for any of the lower tier players, just because Shadow Ball doesn't hit doesn't mean it wasn't successful. He still got the dash attack. And if you're looking at trying to work out the Mewtwo matchup, one of the things you should know is that a fully charged Shadow Ball not only auto spaces for Mewtwo, but also has not as much lag at the end of it as you would think. So a lot of the time you can shoot it and then immediately respond to what the other person's options are. BattleDolphin makes it down with a lucky now, honestly, he just needed a shield. But hey, he's starting to get hits. BattleDolphin, if we look at like the 2 different things that happened here, right? Ari got pretty good on the right side earlier because he got a fair when he was charging Shadow Ball. He sort of tricked BattleDolphin to come in. But BattleDolphin, if we watch the rest of the set, I think you'll notice is a lot better at like stage control. Alright, he's going for those back airs. Suddenly this is online as like a kill potential, goes for a trump, but a little too slow. Tried to respond to the direction of where Ari was. Oh, suddenly we got it. Now that's an interesting little space, right? Right between there is an interesting little space because if you look carefully, if Mewtwo was facing BattleDolphin, he's right in the perfect range for like one of those down tilts that knocks you like almost all horizontal, which Mewtwo can like dash up and threaten the kill move with the fair. Ari's not too happy with that one, but he wins the set, so who's minding? Landing with an up air, interesting. Why not just land with a fair, but oh well. Oof. Ari was sure that one was going to hit or he was going to have to shield it, so he's up there trying to pressure, but panics at the last second. He's like, oh, that didn't hit. Jumps up, does an air dodge, and spooks BattleDolphin, who's still stuck in shield. Eventually gets down tilted. Alright, so BattleDolphin really should be changing his objectives at this point, and I feel like this is something he doesn't do, right? If anyone's played if anyone has played League of Legends, you would know that like the mini map is like your compass when you're traveling, right? It is incredibly important. You have to watch the mini map all the time. And someone once said to me that the percents is sort of like the mini map of Smash. You should always be adapting your game plan for it. But a lot of players might find that dirty, right? They think that if you camp somebody out when you're at high percents, or if you play it deliberately slow to waste somebody else's time when you're at the advantage, is grimy. But at the same time, I really think that BattleDolphin should do that because he's going to get his own dosage of like having to wait out Ari charging his Shadow Ball. So really, if you're talking about grime, it's almost fair because Jigglypuff has got no real other options. So maybe he should stay at this ledge a little bit. Like, what options does Mewtwo really have at the ledge? Down smash doesn't actually hit. Like the hitbox is really high. And Jigglypuff can just like float down and then like up air and pressure. So the only thing that he really should be scared of is like a down air or a fully charged Shadow Ball that hits the lip. So if she sees Mewtwo down air the ledge, all she has to do is drop away air dodge, and then suddenly she's got the above part. She takes stage control for free. She walks on and she can pressure the Mewtwo, or she can like try and edge guard, which there we go. Spoiler alert, is one of Jigglypuff's extra strengths, which BattleDolphin's not good at. How good was that pivot grab, though? That entire setup was actually really sick. I think Ari's might need to improve his ledge setups. I think most Queensland players need to improve their ledge setups. Interesting that he got that. I was expecting Fair to hit it, and honestly, Ari's Fairs have been pretty decent, but they haven't been rewarding for him. So subconsciously, he's probably being encouraged not to use them as much. Gets the Nair, 20%, suddenly even. But look at that, right? BattleDolphin saw the Nair, and then instantly was like, let me just put out a long-lasting hitbox, because he wants to trade. If he gets the Nair hit, and he gets hit by one single hit of Mewtwo's Nair, he's in an advantage, because he can get like a 2-hit string combo off of that, which puts him at an advantage. But remember, right, now that we're in this situation, what does this look like? This looks like down tilt range, doesn't it? So, well, I think this is where I wanted to show you guys. Yeah, it's perfect. So Ari doesn't notice this for a really long time, and I don't know how much BattleDolphin is aware of this, but this is like perfect distance for the back air. And Ari likes to put himself in the corner at this point and then try and go for the down tilt. Maybe it's because he likes to combo the whole way, or maybe he just thinks he has the options to fight BattleDolphin across the entire way. But it's really interesting to me because if I remember Ari's game plans against me when I've played him, and almost all the time when he plays, he goes for fair, or he goes for jump, air dodge, fade away. Like, he loves to control the space really carefully and more air based. But against Jigglypuff, he seems to be able to be like, okay, now I want this one option because Jigglypuff is trash, and I can just get this down tilt, and then I can start punishing him. But continually, I think throughout this set, he gets hit. See, there he gets his fair, and he gets 2 hits, 3 hits. Fair doing work. Nice movement. Wowee. Can't wait till Ultimate, eh, boys? So he can stay on the ledge, and he's not doing anything. Ari can't really do much on the ledge. He goes for a down air, but like has to fade it in because he really wants to keep stage control. Nice. It is so hard for Jigglypuff to get roll away. Alright, we're getting a bit choppy. Unfortunate. Nice. Ari clearly not aware of the fact that he showed his hand last time he threw Shadow Ball. It seems like every time he does throw Shadow Ball, he wants to go in for like the extra pressure with the forward air. I mean, with the dash attack rather. And hasn't really mixed it up as much, besides the one time that he clearly got spooked by BattleDolphin and did the jump air dodge forward air, which did work. If you're looking at your gameplay and you ever wonder like, oh, why did I do that, or how come that got punished, like what incentive, what you really have to look at is like the situations you've previously been in, and be like, okay, well, what worked and how long did it work and why did I change? If you got something and it worked and then you did it again and then you got punished, you should change. If you did something and it worked and then you changed, no reason to, right? Fighting games is based on the idea that you continue to do something until someone punishes you for it. And it's, yeah, it can be argued like, yeah, you want to change before the other person can adapt and like keep them on their toes. But we're seeing here why that can completely backfire. I suppose it's a debatable concept. Take your time on the ledge. Take your time on the ledge, but don't do regular get up shield again because that's what you did last time. There we go. That's what I said. Okay, okay. I did say don't do regular get up shield again, but you probably would have been grabbed anyways because you would have been stuck on the ledge shielding like you normally do. Take to the skies, I'd say, right? Like, control this space. How many jumps you got? 5? Sure, Mewtwo can sort of like push his way out here and he can do a jump and then threaten this space, but I think you have a better chance of like mixing it up and show that you can go here and then try and force the Mewtwo to be in this situation, because if he double jumps, right, he can't like double jump and then quickly land on this platform. So if you get past him, he's fucked because he has to go boing and then like be up here and then try and land with a down air. And that's when you get stage control, which BattleDolphin has already shown that like he'll run through the middle and with his dinky little character still be able to pull off a forward smash. Okay. Wow, it's really laggy. Shoutouts to Julian. Shoutouts to Julian. He's eating pizza. I like this counter pick. I feel like Jigglypuffs a lot of the time want to go to Battlefield because it's like, Ayo Spaghetti-O, I like big things so I don't die as early, but especially when you're fighting a character like Mewtwo, like any advantage that you get in terms of size of stage, Mewtwo's just gonna have as well. But at the same time, BattleDolphin seems to be really good at stage control. What I really think is a good idea though is when he gets into that situation at the moment where it's like, yeah, when he gets in close enough to be able to threaten. Alright, that should have been a forward air. Nice trading. Jigglypuff doesn't mind trading in this situation because it's better than just getting hit. And a lot of the times when she does these trades, she's just gonna get hit. If you ever see Jigglypuff do this forward tilt and then be like, oh my god, or maybe it's down tilt, I can't remember which one. No, it's down tilt. And you're like, holy crap, that thing has a really short range. Why the hell would you do that? That's because he's looking for a tilt situation. Tried the landing up air, but no go. Yikes. Right? Oh, so lucky he didn't get spiked on that. Alright, perfect. BattleDolphin's actually not bad, especially against Ari at like ledge pressure. Don't know about that one though. Oh, that was the rest. Alright, let's cut the lag off, please. Nice, that was also a rest. That was the forward tilt to get that tech situation. Alright, how does he force him off stage? Nice, he's been conservative with the aerials, but he managed to keep him in the corner, so it's okay. Fast fall back air, I don't know. Okay, that's fine. Up tilt's alright. BattleDolphin is, for me, very non-committal in the neutral, which can be really good because he's able to, I think, find more reliable openings. But he's less committal on the ledge. He's trying to do the same thing he does in the neutral because of the character he plays. And remember when I mentioned before, some people won't adapt their objectives because of they've played a character for so long. This is why I encourage a lot of people who like are stuck playing a character and they'd be like, I don't know why I'm not improving. It feels like I put in a lot of effort and I don't get anywhere. I always encourage them to play another character because what I think is BattleDolphin needs to be more willing to call out options based on reads at the ledge instead of trying to react and then just play by feel like he normally does in the neutral. Because he'll be like, oh, where's this opening, and then try and scout it out just by like, oh, here it is, or like back off with the air dodge or whatever. This is really good though. This is really good for him. Even if he fights in the corner, it's not so bad because he's gonna die anyways from like any point. Okay. Really nice following on the string. And he was going to die. But he got 47%, which is really good for Jigglypuff. Jigglypuff has to play the slow game in every matchup. So if she gets extra credit, it's good for her. Other characters don't have to play the slow game even against Jigglypuff, but she always does. Nice. Pound break shield? What the fuck? This character's broken. What the shit? I fucking blocked like one move and then Jigglypuff gets a shield break. Yeah, bitch. That's right. If I look at all the kills that happened throughout this set for Jigglypuff, I reckon overwhelmingly Jiggs gets way more of an advantage when she uses her gimmicky weird setups to get kills. Playing by fundamentals is always good because it makes you a better player, and if you have better fundamentals, you'll win. But I think Lachlan's problem is that, yeah, he's really good at fundamentals and he's able to outplay his opponents that way, but he actually, like, if you don't at least be looking for the gimmicks at some point, like, yeah, they're so risky, but at the same time, if you're not hunting for gimmicks like the rest, like the shield breaks, then you're just cutting off a portion of how much you have going for you in your character. I think this set, this next game, yeah, this next game is where I see like a complete failure on the edge guarding department, and his ledge pressure sort of falls apart. That's where he gets his advantages a lot of the time. When we play this neutral game and everyone's got like decent space, even space, Jigglypuff actually loses. Jigglypuff's been finding more stuff when she weaves her way in through the corners and like disadvantaged situations. If he puts himself above in the platforms, more often than not, I find that he's doing well against Ari. Like then he just got punished twice. But honestly, I feel like if you tallied them all up, he'd be doing better. First time Ari did up smash, there's no real reason that BattleDolphin should have been expecting that. Ari's doing really good ground control. Oh, should have gone for forward there. Really good ground control and finding a lot of grabs. That's the perfect space BattleDolphin wanted to play at, but he was actually afraid of being at the ledge. Should have full hopped. I think he might have tried. Nice. Here's the edge guard scenario. Completely missed. Like, I don't care. It's alright, I think. I think he gets the back. No, he loses stage control. Okay. No, it's alright, like, if you don't want to smack him with an up air or something when you're landing and he's teleported and he's missed it, if you don't have the reaction time, but I feel like that was totally reactable. If you want to like land and then get the back air because he tries to move or whatever, then fine. But he's almost always going to land in shield. Almost everyone does when they do a high recovery, they land in shield. So you should grab him and then try and keep him at ledge. If that's what you want to do, right? Otherwise, I think down air is really good. Pound, because it like knocks them the other way. Or up. Or just rest him. Like that was a huge rest opportunity. I feel like BattleDolphin in particular, as a Jigglypuff, is like he sees the rest opportunities and he puts himself in position to get these rest opportunities. But maybe it's just in tournament that he's like, yo, can't do it. Too risky. Because especially like what happens at the end of the set and earlier in the set, he just misses them, and then it kills his set chances. So he gets this idea like ingrained in his head, like I can't do it, I can't do it, but he's going to. This is perfect. This is perfect scenario right there. Perfect scenario for BattleDolphin. He wants to be at that range to get those back airs and pressure at the ledge. But you know what would have solved that problem? Forward air. Mewtwo's Ari has been doing a lot of different things to mix it up and play really well. But honestly, Jigglypuff has very little answer to forward air. That's one of the moves that Jigglypuff does not really enjoy trading with. Yes, Jigglypuff will take trades, even on forward air, because that means that she's not just getting forward aired in the situation that she's getting forward aired in. But Mewtwo will do a hell of a lot more damage and win those trades every day of the week. And his forward air will start killing as well. Like there, I think you can drop down forward air. Goes for nair, punished. Nice back air. I also think down air is not bad in this situation. Really, really, really good rest. BattleDolphin trying to play it cool like it was all deliberate, but holy Christ, I would have been cheering if I got that. And so good. But even with the rest, he's like at a disadvantage. Unfortunate. I love the shield pressure by BattleDolphin. In fact, if he kept it up, he would have gotten that shield break. Because he got the down air, then he got the pound. Really needed like a smash attack, something that had a bit of priority and would have stopped him from putting out his own move and traded really well. So maybe an up smash. Unfortunately, facing the other way. There was the rest again. There was the rest again. Nice. This is really good stage control by BattleDolphin. As we discussed before, even though he's got the dinkiest character, he's still able to use movement really well to be able to hold stage. Yeah, forward airs. That rising forward air in particular, I think that's a full hop, but that rising forward air and the full hop is so goddamn good against Jigglypuff. It's honestly unfair. Especially if you like double jump away afterwards. Like Jigglypuff can barely follow. She can only pressure really. Yeah, just chuck it. Another one and Jigglypuff's dead, remember? Shield breaks. Jigglypuff's got to really respect it. And there, she was doing that space before, right? She was holding that space like to the above and right of the ledge when the ledge was here, just so she can be like, okay, let me land whenever I can. And lo and behold, she lands when she finds the opportunity. Ari really using a lot of Shadow Ball here, but it's working so well. He's going to go for the grab and up throw soon. Yeah. BattleDolphin, aware of this option, punishes himself internally. closes his eyes after he gets jabbed. Ari, being a merciful god, jabs this missed rest. But that was the game. Miss grab from the duck, you got to jump forward rest. He's gonna get an up smash. Oh, he misses it again. So both of those rests really could have been the game. I feel like if you're using your rests only from a disadvantage, it's a lot easier to be able to write them off. Be like, oh, like I was in disadvantage anyways, and you can convert stuff like he did. Like he was at a disadvantage, and then he converted it into a kill, and suddenly he's got the advantage. But I really think that he has to learn how to use them at an advantage. But then again, I don't know rest kill percent, so maybe he was just thinking that it wouldn't have killed Mewtwo even at that percent, which is a bit silly. Please fix soccer guy. And he goes to Ike. How do we all feel about switching characters when you're 2-1 up? I don't know. But he switches to Ike nonetheless. And before we go in, let's think about the objectives, right? These guys clearly didn't think of the objectives. Ari went straight in. Maybe he was thinking about the objectives before he started the next game. But BattleDolphin didn't really have much of a chance. But if you're going in and they click on the next stage instantly like that and you don't have time to think, you got to think about the quick moves that you want to look out for. Down tilt, nair, forward air, grab, up throw, up airs, right? You don't really think about smash attacks as much. They're not so dangerous. Side B, up B, not too dangerous. In fact, up B is a weak point. You want to be looking for up B because you can edge guard that when Ike gets really high up on the recovery. But maybe Ari was like, damn, BattleDolphin's not edge guarding me at all. But I don't really have to worry about that. What else? Back air. So basically most of the aerial kit, besides up landing up air and grab and down tilt, it's really what you have to worry about. The thing about what changes this matchup is that Ike has way better um, zoning power because he's got a sword. So in theory, it should make it a little harder for BattleDolphin to get in. But I think BattleDolphin, this game demonstrates how well a lot of low tiers can play around your scenario. Because even though he loses this, for the most part, he plays the neutral really, really well. If you're looking about like, oh, how do I make my character work with like such shitty options? Watch BattleDolphin in this game. Like even though he loses, he does a lot well of being able to thread inside the threat zone. Like he's willing to take those hits, but now suddenly he's a little bit closer, and he's able to make his like way through by avoiding options. It's not that Ari isn't doing the options she should. Like he's following his objective list, but BattleDolphin's like, let me jump over that down tilt. Let me space around that forward tilt. Let me pressure that shield. And you're like, oh, 61%, this is awful. But BattleDolphin's figuring it out. Should have been a kill. Let's look about how we could do it, right? Because we don't want to just leave BattleDolphin and say, hey, you should have killed there. So he's got the forward throw, or whatever the fuck that was. Ari's going to land with an aerial, because Ari's always going to land with aerial with Ike, because those are all of his objective moves besides up air, right? So what do we wait for? Land with aerial. Goes to the down tilt immediately after, because he's like, let me combo. Even at 60%, it might not hit, but let me combo. Might get a kill. He makes his way through. Gets real close for pressure. And then here we are. Ike's going to up B, right? Ike has super armor at like the start of his up B, but I'm pretty sure at the top of his up B he doesn't. So what do we use? Nair? Yeah, Nair's good. Side B instantly? Sure, side B might work because it's got a long lasting hitbox, right? But you have to aim it right. Nair is probably the best one because you're going to trade a little bit of the hit from the up B, but he's going to get knocked down. He's going to do his up B again, and you can follow through with another one like a dare or something like that. Forward air is also really good because you knock him further away, right? Especially if he uses jump, he's dead because he has almost no horizontal recovery below the stage. So you really want to knock him further away if possible. Nair's going to be pretty good at that if you get the right angle. Like if he starts recovering like here, so if he starts recovering like here, This isn't going to be capturing, is it? Okay, yeah. So if he starts recovering like here, and he would get the fair, right? He's going to get knocked like that way, right? And if he gets the nair, he might be knocked like that way if he gets the angle coming from this way with the nair. So Jigglypuff's got the entire advantage for the edge guard here. He just has to make it work, right? Even at 37%, this can be a dead Ike if he just knocks him to this point, basically, right? Because like the forward air is going to be so much more the up B is going to be so much more difficult to hit there. If he knocks him here, he's dead for sure. Absolutely dead. If he knocks him like this distance away, he's put himself in this situation. If he still has jump, like he can try again, but you can rinse and repeat at a point with Jigglypuff if you just know, if you just get him in a situation without the jump, and like you can continually hit this point, even if he sweet spots it, like he's still vulnerable at this point for like 3 seconds or some shit, where he's like doing his spin like woo 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 woo, and you can just nair it and then keep knocking him that way continuously. This is all matchup stuff, but at the same time, Jigglypuff can do a lot of this stuff in all the matchups because her aerials are so good for edge guarding, and she's got the ability to go down and do a whole bunch of damage and then come back. Go down, do a whole bunch of damage, come back, right? And even if like he still makes it back after like 6 or 7 attempts, I'm pretty sure the hit on up B doesn't do as much as like 3 or 4 nairs, right? So if you can like keep knocking them away, that's how you win this right here, right? And then you're on 67%. He's on 0 with 1 stock. You're gonna win that. What does he go for? He goes for a really late side B. He's trying to get the swing down because he lands all the way up here, right? Or he was maybe thinking Ari's going to go super low, but he goes for the really late side B. Should go for the nair. Side B's alright, because it has a really long lasting hitbox, but the nair is way better for trading, because at this point BattleDolphin got hit for nothing. If you go nair, if you get hit, you're pretty much always trading. So it's gone alright. That swing there almost always could have been a rest as well. Alright, ledge pressure. Edge guarding. Another side B. Last time didn't work, don't do it again. That nair was supposed to be a rest. Didn't mean to do nair. He must have hit B on his way down and got the nair. That, honestly, is pretty good ledge pressure though. And BattleDolphin's good at reading the options, especially when they go for a roll up. I feel like he can do more with jump up from the ledge. And you can cause people to jump up from the ledge. I don't think very much anyone punishes a lot of jump up at all. But really you just go up and then you up air, right? You just go up air. Because they can't do anything from like here to here. Like they just can't put inputs for like the first 19 frames or something from doing a jump get up. So you just do like a nair or a jump up air. And like, yeah, you might get smacked for it, but what you're encouraging them to do is an option other than the jump get up. Or put yourself in a position and see what happens. Like maybe if you stand here, he'll jump. And you're like, okay, so if I stand here every single time, he jumps, and you do it again, and he jumps. And then you do it again, and you go for a back hit, and he'll get hit, and then he's off stage. What the fuck? Okay, thanks for that. But yeah, what you want to be looking for is options that instigate him to do something. But yeah, he's so dead after that. Alright, he's giggling, he's like, yeah, this is my set now, thanks bro. This right here is so impossible for, I mean, it's not impossible if he was able to get edge guards, but the way BattleDolphin is playing, he's not going to be able to get this guy. Because he's got no rage, most of the hits aren't going to knock him completely off stage anymore. Like that late fair did absolutely nothing. I mean, it's really good at edge guarding, but honestly, he's really lucky that he got away with this at 43%. But now, he's going up to 100% again, and avoid getting smacked with fair or bear at 80%. Just basically got to get, like, really far. Just got him to, like, 100, 120. And avoid getting smacked. It's tough. Ari's starting to adapt a little bit. He's not landing with an aerial every single time. Does a really cute move to get the down tilt. First down tilt I saw him get that I can think of. Gets a punish for it. Up there? Yeah. That would kill. That would kill. So thinking back, right when I started this game, the set, we were thinking about like objectives and what we're gonna go for, and how some characters can or some players can get stuck in their characters' objectives. I feel like Ari, as a player, um, is really good at not doing that, and a lot of people will see how quickly Ari did well with Mewtwo, um, and be like, oh damn, like some people are just better at the game, right? Like they just got this natural skill or whatever. But if you want to break down why Ari's doing so well, first of all, he's patient. And I think a lot of players don't have a lot of patience in Queensland. That's super underrated, and that's obviously the most important thing. But the second thing is, you watch both of his like games as Mewtwo and Ike, and you can just see like his adaptation of objectives. His objective as Ike is no longer like um, try and get Jigglypuff to kill percent and then go for it. Like, and then he starts pushing his way in with forward airs and tries to like nair him out of the air or anything like that. His objective becomes, okay, how do we punish Jigglypuff every time she tries to make something happen? And you can see that because he starts off with like trying to go for like nairs and forward airs and then smacks her on her way in and then tries to follow up with the down tilt. And then if you watch immediately after that, he starts going for the forward tilt after the Jigglypuff jumps over the down tilt and he gets punished for it. So what you're seeing is, right, in a nutshell, you're seeing objectives being adapted to the scenario. Not just my character needs to do this. How do I instigate this? How come it's not working? What am I missing? I'm not going to think about it. I lost the set. Which is honestly something I do. I mean, Ultimate's coming up, so I don't really have to feel too bad for it. But if you're looking at this game and you're thinking Jigglypuff had no chance, um, and you play Ike into Jigglypuff next time, and then you start getting railed, what you have to think about is really those little instances of what went wrong, right? A helpful tip of how to do it is probably think about one time that you made a really bad mistake. Because sometimes, have you ever come out of a set and just been like, someone's asked for advice and you can't even remember what happened? You can't even remember like the kind of advice that you want to give somebody because it flashed by so quickly and all the things that you might have thought about you might have missed, right? And they're the little mistakes because you're just punishing it. So what you really need to think about is like, okay, where did I get hit real bad? Where did I get punished? For BattleDolphin, it's pretty easy. He missed a rest. He tried to do a nair and he needed a rest and then he missed it. I mean, he tried to do a rest and then he missed it and he got a nair and then he died. But for Ari, if he was like, okay, how do I improve on this set? He's really got to think about like, okay, what went wrong? You go into the Mewtwo game. Well, every time that I tried to challenge him in the air with Nair, it would just trade because he would take like he would just fight me from non-stage control. But even though he doesn't have stage control, I can't really threaten him with a double jump because then I've lost my control. And his stage control was like really good. He was getting forward smashes on me trying to get in and whatnot. So how do I do that? How do I avoid that? Charge Shadow Ball, go for forward airs, like full hop forward airs to try and like snipe him out of the air and like control space. And don't worry about anything else because he doesn't have projectiles and him threading in is a lot more difficult for him than for me threading into him. But I did say I would give Lachlan some more practical advice, so I'll just think about that. I think for this game, it's kind of tough because he sort of had the win. Sort of. I mean, he had that rest. But I'd honestly say, like, he would have won that game before if he'd gone for those rests on, like, the platforms. But beyond that, he has to start thinking of ways of being creative with ledge setups and, like, punishing people for their jump get-ups. And also, don't give up on things that don't just work the first time if you know that they work. For instance, that first trump he went for, right? Just didn't try it again. But you could have made it work. In fact, you probably could have made it work with Ike really well, because if you get behind Ike while he's doing his up B recovery, you just slap in behind him. And if he tries to do like a roll get up or something, then you just pretend you're going to, and then you go for the rest again. I think BattleDolphin's like really, really perfected the neutral. and that wins him a lot of things. And the way he plays in the neutral is always, it's not reactive, but it's like a very learning based style in the neutral of how do I find my way in, and then makes the most of it, because he doesn't have time to, or he doesn't really have the tools to be able to, like, how do I instigate a response from somebody as Jigglypuff. It's more of like, how do I surprise the other player in the neutral with options he didn't expect from Jigglypuff, right? So yeah, when you have the advantage, you almost always want to be trying to create options for your enemy. Like, you want to be able to read their options and like learning how to make reads, because it's not all just about like what you can feel. Sure, you can go by what you can feel, but then you just have to be a little bit more ballsy. Like my cat right now, coming up for pets. Anyways, not much more I can do about that game. Ari, maybe you could try trumping, right? Like, Mewtwo doesn't have a very good trump, but Ike's trump is absolutely absurd if you wanted to play some more Ike. Hit me up if you've got any more suggestions. I want to do some more. Hopefully this one's good enough for Lachlan to learn from. And yeah, cheers.